We're going to get started, but before we do, grab a strap. We're going to use a strap today, not for bad things. I'm going to be nice to you today. So if you've got a strap, grab one. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt or like a bathrobe belt or anything like that. So go scrounge around, grab yourself a strap, and then we'll get started. All right, you guys. So if everybody's got something that they can use, we will go ahead and have a seat and kind of get centered in. So get yourself situated with a nice straight spine. Shoulders relaxed, head balanced on top of the spine. Close your eyes for a moment if you're comfortable with that. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale through the mouth. Just take a moment to kind of turn inward. And so as you're allowing your attention to move inside of you, you're paying attention to all of the sensations, noticing everything. And then I'd like you to go ahead and deepen your breathing. So if you can do an Ujjayi breath, that's fantastic. And then just kind of notice thought patterns, emotions, energy, and even how connected you feel. And then based on those observations, let's bring our palms together and set our intention for practice today. When you're clear on your intention, take a deeper breath in. Big sigh. Just relax your arms for a moment. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times. And then you could just kind of let your arms hang. I want you to inhale, squeeze your shoulders up by your ears. Exhale through your mouth and drop them, let them fall. Inhale, squeeze them up. Exhale, drop them. One more time, inhale, squeeze. Exhale, drop it. Good. We're going to go ahead and transition onto our hands and knees. So today's practice is kind of going to be about rooting down, or you can think of it as extremities. Today is hands and feet primarily. So beginning on all fours, I'd like you to just take the opportunity to spread your fingers as much as you comfortably can and get your palms really nice and flat. The first thing we're going to do is circle our shoulders around our wrists. Now, if you've got wrist issues, you're going to be very gentle and mindful, but we're going to keep the arms straight and circle the torso over the wrists. And change directions. And then just come back to the center and now begin your regular cat-cow stretches, inhaling to arch and exhaling to round. And then when you're ready on your next exhale, go ahead and take a child's pose. From here, we're going to scoot forward into Sphinx. Take the opportunity to lengthen out your spine. And then press up into downward facing dog. In your hands should be like they were just a moment ago when we were on all fours. Fingers spread, palms flat. Now, once you get into your down dog, I want you to pedal your feet. Maybe you already do that, but if you don't normally, you're going to bend one knee while you press the opposite heel down and then switch sides. And you want to do that while you continue to press your hips up and back. And then both heels press down. Take one more breath. Walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent and dangle in your ragdoll. On your next inhale, come all the way up. Reach the arms up and overhead. Again, spread your fingers. Lift your chest if it's okay. Look up, but really open up the palms of the hands here. And on your next exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So we're going to take a moment just getting rooted in our Tadasana. The very first thing I want you to do is to decide, do you want your feet together or do you want them sit bone distance apart? Either one is fine. You can actually look down at your feet. You're going to lift all of your toes, spread them, and plant them back down. And then lift your heels and plant them back down. Shift your weight back a little bit. Extend your fingers slightly. So you don't want to hyperextend, but you want energy in the hands. And then just get yourself vertically aligned. And take a moment and notice how connected to the ground and the earth you feel through your feet. That's how we are connected to the earth, truly. Now, relax your arms a little bit. You're just going to shift your weight to your right foot and begin to roll back and forth over the toes of your left foot. So just rolling back and forth. We're going to do this a few times. We're going to give our hands and feet a lot of love today. We often neglect them and take them for granted, and they are how we connect with the world. Most of the time, it's our hands that are connecting us to everything other than what our feet are walking on, right? Okay. Now that left leg is going to extend in front of you. Put the heel on the ground, but you want your left leg straight. You're going to curl the left toes back towards the shin very strongly. And then you're not actually dragging your foot, but you're going to act like you're pulling your left heel back towards you. And when you do that and you dorsiflex the foot, you're going to feel that in your left calf. So you're stretching out your left calf, left Achilles tendon. Take one more breath. And then we're just going to bring that foot behind us and you're on top of the toes. So it's like you're pointing your foot. And you're going to do the same thing here. You're not really dragging your foot forward, but you're kind of acting like it. And this is going to really stretch out the top of your foot. Now, if you're prone to toe cramps, you're going to have to be a little gentle on this one because this might set them off. But it's a worthy stretch, and over time, it will prevent the toe cramps. All right. Shake out that left foot and plant it back down and just pause. Even after just that small amount of movement, notice how your left foot feels a little bit more alive than your right foot. Maybe it's warmer, maybe it's tingly, maybe you just have more sensation. But you've increased the blood flow and your sensory awareness of your left foot. So now we're going to do the other side. Shift to your left foot just a little bit and begin to roll back and forth over the toes of your right foot. And by the way, this is really, really good for you. If you find this to be incredibly uncomfortable, it's kind of an indication that maybe you should do it more often. When you're sitting at a desk or sitting and watching TV or whatever, you could be rolling over your toes to help loosen up the muscles of the feet. All right, from here, we're going to go ahead and extend the right leg out. That heel is on the ground. Your toes are strongly curling back towards your shin, and you're pulling just a little, like you're trying to drag that right heel back. And this is so that you'll feel a stretch in the right calf. Hold that for one more breath. And then go ahead and bring that right foot behind you. And now you're on the top of the toes. So it's like you're pointing your foot. And again, you act like you're dragging the foot towards you, even though you're not actually moving it. Now you should feel the stretch on the top of the foot and the front of your shin, tibialis muscle. So you're really stretching that out. Take one more breath. Good. Wiggle that right foot and toes. Plant your foot back down and notice your feet are already more awake and alive and energized. So inhaling, reach the arms up. And then exhale, go ahead and fold all the way forward. Get your fingertips beside your toe tips. And then look up and lengthen. And go back down. You're gonna step back with your left foot. And just kind of take a moment and feel your connection. The entire right foot is flat on the ground. Hopefully your hands, or at least your fingertips, are on the ground, or they might be on blocks, and that's cool too. And you can feel the ball of the left foot and the underside of the left toes. So those are your points of connection. We'll go ahead and drop the left knee down. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot. Notice how your foot kind of automatically wants to flex to protect the right knee, yeah? And then gently press on the inside of your right knee. Fully extend your right leg now. Flex the ankle and toes again. And again, you should be feeling this in the right calf as well as your right hamstring. So really strongly pull those toes back towards your shin. Then bend your right knee. I want you to bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts. Sink your hips forward. Now, what we're going to do from here is bring the hands to the top of the right thigh, and I want you to slide your right foot back up underneath you a fair amount. Your right heel is going to be flat, and you're going to gently press on your right knee. You want to keep the right heel flat, so what we're trying to do is get our Achilles tendon and the lower part of the calf to stretch. So you are creating a sharper angle at your right ankle, basically. Make sure your knee is okay with this. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring your right knee underneath you, hands and knees, wag your tail. Those of you doing vinyasas today, you may begin to take them and be mindful of your feet. You might want to roll back and forth over the toes. For those of you that are taking the gentler flow with me, let's take a child's pose. And I'll take you through part of the toe roll in just a second. From your child's pose, go ahead and scoot forward into cobra. So rather than sphinx, let's just come into a nice low cobra. Chest is just partially lifted. This would be the toe roll I was talking about. If you feel like you can, you just roll over the toes for your downward facing dog. Now, if you've got pins in your toes, or very sensitive feet, you're going to completely ignore that suggestion. Take care of yourself, of course. Take one more breath in your downward facing dog, and then step your left foot forward up between your hands. Again, just kind of make note of how you're connected down. Your hands are connecting you down, the whole sole of the left foot, and then the ball of the right foot and the underside of the toes. We're going to drop the right knee down, bring the left hand to the inside of the left knee, roll to the outside edge of that foot, flex it, of course, and then press on the inside of that left knee. And go ahead and extend your left leg now, flexing the ankle and toes. Making sure you're curling your left toes back towards the shins so that you feel this not only in the back of the left thigh, but also the back of the calf. Bend your left knee. Arms are up and overhead. Pelvis tilts back and the hips move forward. And then we're going to come up and we're going to bring the left foot back up underneath us quite a bit. Left heel stays flat. That's really important. Hands are on top of the thigh, and we press that left knee forward without letting the left heel lift. And we should feel a stretch around the left Achilles tendon, bottom part of the left calf. And then from here, we'll bring the hands down. I want you to take your left knee back to meet your right knee. Wag your tail a moment. And we're gonna give the feet a little bit more love. So here's what I want you to do. You're gonna turn your toes under. Big toes have to touch, right? So you're on the underside of the toes, big toes are touching. If your knees can handle it, you're gonna come up and sit back on the heels. I'm modifying slightly because of a wonky knee, so if I look a little lopsided, don't mind me, you do it evenly. So that just gives you a little bit of a stretch on the underside of the foot, but we're gonna make it more exciting now. Lift your bum a little bit. Heels also touch, big toes and heels are touching. And then you go to sit back and that's a little more exciting, right? Take one more breath and then come on up from that. Put your hands right beside your knees and untuck your toes. So now your feet are kind of pointed. If you can, you're gonna sit back on the heels a little, it doesn't have to be all the way, and then lift the knees off the ground. So what this does is stretches out the top of the foot and then release that and come back out all the way onto hands and knees. Give yourself a tail wag. We're gonna give your feet a break for a moment and go back to the hands. So now what I'd like you to do is bring your hands right beside the front part of your knees, like really fairly close to your knees, I'll put it that way. Spread your fingers and flatten out the palms. Please be mindful and move slowly, but all you're gonna do is keep your arms straight and start to shift your body forward. What you're doing is creating a sharper angle at your wrist. So what you're doing right now is stretching the underside of your wrist. And then we're gonna switch it. Go ahead and come back. Lean forward a little bit and come onto the back of the hands. And now gently start to take your body back. This is stretching the top side of the wrist. You should feel it in your forearms. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring the hands back out, spread the fingers, plant the palms, toes, turn under, downward facing dog. Now, from this down dog, I'd like you to pick your left foot up off the ground. You're literally gonna stand with your left foot on your right heel. I like to take my big toe to the outside of the Achilles tendon, and then you're pressing on your right heel with your left foot while you're pressing your hips up and back. This should give you crazy good stretch in your right calf, right Achilles tendon. If you're extra spunky, lift the toes of the right foot. And then put your left foot back down. Pick your right foot up off the mat, stand on your left heel, press it down while you push your hips up and back, maybe even lifting the toes of the left foot. Both feet on the ground, stretch the hips back, and then walk your feet forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So we're gonna balance a little bit, but before we do, we're gonna wake up the feet a tiny bit more. The more awake your feet are, the more blood flow and sensitivity you have in them, the easier your balance will be today. So here's what we're gonna do. You can have your feet a slight distance apart. I want you to look down at your toes again. It's helpful if you actually see it. The first thing we're gonna do is peel our toes up from the little toe side. Little toe lifts, second, third, fourth, and big toe. And then paste them back down in reverse. Big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth, kind of all go together, right? Now you're gonna peel up from the big toe side. Big toe lifts, second toe, third toe, fourth, and a little toe. And then paste them back down from the little toe side all the way back down. Good. Bring your palms together. Keeping the palms together, and again, being mindful of sensitive wrist issues, start to press your hands down until you feel that stretch on the underside of the wrists. Bring the hands back up. Backs of the hands now come together. And again, being sensitive, start to bring the hands back up underneath your chin, and now you're feeling the top side of the wrist stretch. And then release, shake it all out. And if you have a strap, you're gonna want it If you're having a balance challenge day, be near to something that you can hang on to. Otherwise, let's do our best with this today. And even if you can grab your foot, you're probably gonna wanna use a strap today. Spread the toes of your right foot and plant your heel. Get a good connection between the sole of your right foot and the earth. And then loop your left foot. So what I want you to do is get really vertical. You're not gonna change your posture. Bring your left leg up until you feel a gentle hamstring stretch. Left leg should stay straight. Now, you're gonna flex the foot and point the foot. Flex and point. One more time, flex and point. Let it be neutral and relaxed. Grab the strap, both sides, in your left hand. Right arm opens out to the right. Take the left leg to the left. Flex, point, flex, point. One more time, flex and point. Bring your leg back in, left foot on the ground. Good job, you guys. So spread the toes of your left foot, plant that heel, solid connection between the sole of the left foot and the earth. Loop your right foot. Same thing, torso stays straight and aligned and vertical, and you just kind of hoist that right leg up an appropriate level. We're not trying to go crazy here. You just want to feel a little hamstring stretch. And then you're gonna flex and point the right foot. Flex, point, flex, and point, and then come back to neutral. Grab the strap in your right hand. Left arm opens out. Right leg goes to the right. And again, we flex, point, flex, point. One more time, flex and point. Bring your leg back in and release. You can drop your strap. You'll use it again later once you're on your back, but for now, you're done. So what I'd like you to do is take a wide side step. For just a moment, I'm going to have you play with really activating your feet. So if you let your feet get really lazy for multiple reasons, this can happen. Certain footwear that we wear our whole lives, things like that can cause collapsed arches, or what we call fallen arches. There's lots of names for it. But basically what happens is the inner part of your foot, those muscles get really lax. They collapse, the ankles roll in, it starts causing all kinds of troubles in the knees, the hips, the back, etc. So what most people don't realize is that you can retrain your arches and keep them really strong. What I want you to do right now with your feet wide is lift all 10 toes. Look down at your feet, look at the arches, and then relax your toes and see how the arch relaxes. Now, lift all your toes, particularly the big toe, and see how those arches activate again. So we're going to give you a little bit of practice. If you feel as though your arches are starting to fall or collapse, or if you already have that condition, keeping your toes up to retrain those muscles is your ticket to freedom. Relax your toes for a moment. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Rotate your left foot in. Rotate your right foot out. Bend your right knee. Warrior two. Lift all 10 toes. Keep them lifted. Take your left hand to your left thigh. Take your right arm up and over. Keep all 10 toes lifted. Come all the way back up. Toes are still lifted. Right leg straightens. Lengthen out and come into triangle pose. Keep all 10 toes lifted. Come all the way back up. Rotate your right foot in and your left foot out. Toes are still lifted. Bend your left knee. Arms out to the side. Warrior two, all 10 toes up. Now, if you're starting to feel a little bit of fatigue in the front of your shin, bravo. That's part of what's happening. Right hand on right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse warrior, all 10 toes are up. We're gonna come all the way back up, straighten the left leg, lengthen out, find triangle pose with all 10 toes lifted. Starts to get a little tiring. which is very effective. If it doesn't challenge us, it doesn't change us. Come all the way back up. Keep your toes lifted. Rotate your feet forward again. Hinge at your hips. Grab your elbows. Relax your neck for a couple of breaths. Release the toes. Hands to the mat. Toe heel your feet in. Big inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, come to prayer. Awesome. All right. So we're back at the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale, back down. Step back onto hands and knees. Wag your tail a moment. Those of you doing vinyasas, you can play with the toe roll again. The rest of us are going to take a child's pose. And then scoot into either Sphinx or Cobra. Either one of those is fine. And then downward facing dog. Fingers are spread, palms are flat. Now, as you get into your down dog, I want you to really press through your palms, like you're trying to plug them into the earth. Reach those hips way back. Press your heels down and then try to lift all 10 toes. And then from here, you can walk your feet forward and have a seat with your legs extended. Make sure you find your sit bones. And then I'd like you to go ahead and use your hands on the ground for Dandasana today. So we do this all the time, but today it's gonna feel a little different. You're already very awake with your hands and your feet. So your hands are beside your hips. You're trying to press your palms into the floor, fingers are spread. Your legs are very active. Your feet are flexed. Your toes are spread. Notice how you feel. Everything's very alive. And then you're going to keep your right leg straight. Bring your left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Lean out over your right leg. Take a couple of breaths. And then you're going to come on up from that. I'd like you to pick your left foot up. Bring it on top of the right thigh, wherever it's comfortable for you. And then we're going to take our right hand and interlace the fingers between the toes. So your right thumb is outside the left big toe, and the other 4 fingers should hopefully just slide in between your toes easily. If you need to help them, help them. And then we're going to use our right hand to flex the left foot and then point the left foot. And then flex it and point it. Flex it and point it. Now this next time we're going to flex the foot and keep it in flexion and then spread the fingers to spread the toes. You can bring your right hand out from between the toes. I want you to take your thumbs and imagine that the center of your foot is like a little spine. We're going to massage from the front part of the heel, just kind of up the midline of this left foot. So we're massaging through the arch and across the ball of the foot till we get to the base of the toes. And do that a couple of times. Make a fist now with your right hand and don't use the bony knuckly part, but rather use the flat spot. And you're going to kind of just press into the arch of your left foot, almost like you're kneading dough. Just press it. Now flatten out your right hand and you're going to clap the sole of your left foot with your right hand. And then extend your left leg out beside your right leg. So you've already done a lot of stuff to enliven your feet, but you'll notice you hit even a new level. Your left foot should feel tingly and super happy now. So keep your left leg straight. Bring your right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Go ahead and lean out over your left leg for a couple of breaths. And then from here, we're going to come on up, pick the right foot up and bring it on top of the left thigh, wherever it's comfortable for you. And now we're going to interlace the fingers of the left hand with the right toes. So again, if they don't just slide in, feel free to help them. Once you get your fingers in between the toes, I want you to flex the foot and then point the foot. Flex and point. Flex and point. And then this last time, you're going to flex your foot. Keep it in flexion. Spread your fingers to spread the toes. I promise you, you can get to a point where this feels really good. And then you can remove your left hand from your toes. Now we're going to use the thumbs and kind of go right up the middle or midline of our right foot. Just kind of massaging it like it was a little back. All the way up to beneath the toes. And we're going to do that for a couple of different times. And then make a fist with your left hand. Remember, it's the flat spot, not the bony prominences of your knuckles. And you're going to knead the arch of your right foot. And then flatten out the left hand and clap the sole of your right foot. And then extend your right leg and wiggle the toes. So just taking a moment to feel, your feet should feel really alive. Go ahead and lean back on your hands, however it feels comfortable to you. And you're just going to lift the legs enough that you can make some really nice ankle circles. And then change directions and go the other way. Good. Relax your legs. Bring your arms in front of you. Make some wrist circles. And then go the other way. And then go ahead and interlace your fingers and roll your wrists. And then back it up and go the other way. And then finally, we'll do a little bit of tense and release. Arms are out in front of you. So it's like you're a puppet now. If you flex your right hand back, your toes flex. And if you point your right hand, your right toes point. Bring it back to neutral. Left flexes and points and bring it back to neutral. Now we'll do them together. Flex and point. Flex and point. One more time, flex and point. And now I want you to squeeze your toes and squeeze your fists really tight. And then extend them and then wiggle, 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 wiggle. Excellent. From there, grab your strap, loop it around both feet, right around the midpoint of the foot. Lift your chest and kind of pull forward. Get a gentle hamstring stretch. Remember, we're not trying to do anything too crazy today. And then keeping the chest kind of lifted. Your feet are already flexed. Now point them and flex them. Point and flex. One more time. Point and flex. Good. If you can reach your toes, and this is optional, one last time, you're going to interlace fingers between toes, but you're going from the front now. So if you can slide your fingers between your toes, front to back, so that your fingers are kind of on the ball of the feet, just get a good grip there and get one more good forward bend. And then come on up from that. You can lean on your hands. I want you to do that little windshield wiper thing with your legs. Roll the legs. So obviously right now you're doing this on purpose. You're rolling your legs, you're using your leg muscles, right? Now I want you to let your legs relax. I'm gonna move my strap out of the way so you can see this. We're gonna roll our legs without the leg muscles. We're gonna use our hands. So your legs have to be totally relaxed. You're gonna start up here by your hip. You're pushing on your legs from the outside to get them to roll. They should be totally passive, and I want you to use your hands all the way down to your ankles and all the way back up. You're actually hitting some meridian points here. Do that one more time, all the way down the side of the legs, rolling them. Your legs are totally relaxed. Bring the hands all the way back up. Excellent. And then from here, you get to roll onto your back, hug your knees in, and side to side rock. Now, from here, we're going to use our strap again one more time. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and loop your right foot and then extend your left leg all the way onto the ground. So here's what I want you to do. As much as you can, have your right leg straight. Now, if you're one of my hyper flexible people, congratulations. But if you can get your leg like way up by your face or whatever, don't do it. Try and get your leg vertical. If you can't get your leg vertical, you can do this with your leg farther out in front of you. But the farthest point is going to be a vertical leg, because what we're actually going to do is hold the strap one side in each hand, flex the right foot, and I want you to actually pull straight down towards the floor. So what you're feeling is pressure in the arch of the foot and the right side of the back of your pelvis really grounding into your mat. So you really want to feel that right glute connecting to your mat. Now listen, this is a tiny move. I want the right side to stay really connected to the mat. Keep your right leg straight and the foot flexed. Very small movement of the right leg towards the midline of the body. If you keep pressure on the arch of the foot and you keep your right hip grounded, you're going to feel this in your right IT band, right outer hip. All right, bring the leg back up. Hang on with just your right hand now. Put your left hand on your hip bone so you don't roll, and try and get that nice straight leg to rotate out to the right. The goal is to not let your right leg hit the ground. You want the whole thing in space. If you're not feeling enough of a stretch, pull the leg more towards your right ear. Once you find that perfect stretch point, flex the foot, point the foot, flex, point. One more time, flex and point. Relax the foot, bring it all the way back up. Take your strap off and hug your right knee. And then we're just going to transition this into a twist. Your right arm's going to open out to the right, and you're going to twist to the left. If you need to bend both knees, please do. And then just relax. Now, in this position, your right hand should be facing palm up. If you were using a strap, chances are you were gripping it pretty tightly because that was required. Notice how alive your right hand feels right now. There is an increase in blood flow there. There's perhaps a little warmth. Just pay attention to that. And then slowly come back up. Hug your right knee in. You can bring your left knee up to meet it. And we're going to loop the left foot and extend the right leg all the way out onto the floor. So just like we did on the other side, the highest you want to raise your leg is vertical. If you can't get it all the way vertical, that's fine, but don't bring it up towards your head. And so once you get that vertical leg, you're going to hold, or as close to it as you can, you're going to hold either side of the strap in a hand. In each side in one hand, flex your ankle and pull straight down. So the strap creates pressure in the arch of your left foot, but the left side of your pelvis, the back side of your pelvis is really grounded. And you're going to maintain that really grounded feeling through the back side of your left hip, and gently, small amount of movement of the left leg towards the midline of the body. Again, this is IT band stretch. It's small. It's a subtle movement with a big payoff. Bring your leg back up. Grab both sides of the strap now with your left hand. Right hand on the right hip bone. And take that left leg open to the left. So remember, the goal is not to have the left leg on the ground. You want it in the air. Ideally, your leg is straight. When you find the right spot, you're going to flex the foot, point the foot, flex the foot, point the foot, flex the foot, and point the foot. And then bring the leg back up. Take your strap off. You're done with it. Hug the left knee in. And we'll just transition this into a twist. So your left arm opens out to the left. You are twisting to the right. Hopefully your left hand is palm up. And you're feeling that increase in blood flow and energy in your left hand. That sense of being very alive. On your next inhale, come on back up. Hug your left knee in and bring your right knee up to meet it. Rock side to side. Now from here, I'm going to have you put your feet flat on the mat. You can have your feet basically like you would for bridge pose. We're not going to lift the hips just yet. What I'd like for you to do is come up onto the balls of the feet. So lift your heels, plant the heels, lift the toes and the balls of the feet. You'll notice you're basically flexing and pointing your feet. Balls of the feet go back down, heels lift, heels plant, balls of the feet lift. One more time. Lift the heels, plant the heels, lift the toes and the balls of the feet, and then plant your feet back down. Now, if you can at all get your hips into your hands, that would be my preference for our inversion today. It doesn't have to look like a shoulder stand. We're not going that high. I just want your legs up in the air. If you can't get your hips into your hands, you might consider putting a block under your hips so that we can just kind of play with some leg positions. So if you're able, do that. And if not, you can certainly do a traditional bridge pose. But what I'd like for you to do is just kind of hike your hips into your hands a little, if you can. You can also put them on a block, like I said. And I want you to just drop your legs into a nice wide V. And of course, we're going to flex the feet, point the feet, flex, point, one more time, flex and point. Now with the knees wide, bring the soles of the feet together. So it's kind of like Baddha Konasana. You feel your toes, the balls of the feet, and the heels touching. Take one more breath here. And then if you can, let your right leg kind of drop over your head. Left leg extends out, opposite direction. And then bring them back in. Left leg over your head, right leg extends out, opposite direction. Bring them back in, bend your knees, slowly roll down, hug the knees in, and rock side to side. Place your feet flat on the floor, ankles and knees together. So we're going to do that little hip roll, but here's the kicker. It's not going to be a big hip roll because I want you to keep your feet grounded the whole time. So this has a lot to do with ankle mobility, right? As you exhale, both knees drop to one side, but remember you can't let the left foot lift, right? Inhale, both knees back up, and as you exhale, drop both knees to the left side, but you can't let the right foot lift. So it's a small roll. So you're probably moving even slower if you're breathing slowly, because I want you to coordinate the movement with your breath. Keep those feet grounded. And we'll go one more time on each side. And then let the knees come back up. You're going to let the knees drop open now, soles of the feet together. And I want you to really feel the soles of your feet totally connecting, the heels, the balls of the feet, and the pads of the toes. Then I want you to bring your palms together like prayer and bring them over your head. Feel the heel of the palm of your hand, the base of the thumbs and fingers, and all the way up, touching. Hold this for a couple of breaths. This is all about connection. And then bring the knees back up, hug them in towards your chest. Reach down and grab the outside edges of your feet. You've been doing a lot with your feet already. So you should be feeling a lot of sensitivity in the hands and the feet as you grab, right? And then just begin to explore some other movements, but you should be quite aware of the connection between your hands and feet. So when we really increase our focus and we increase our blood flow, we also increase not only the awareness, but the sensitivity of those body parts. Take a couple more breaths. And then just put your feet flat on the mat again. We're going to intentionally move into our Shavasana today. So I want you to take a deep inhale and extend your right leg way out, pushing through the heel, and then exhale and totally let it relax and flop. Inhale, left leg extends out. You're pushing through the heel, and then exhale and let it relax. Take a moment, make sure the legs are where you want them. And then inhale ever so slightly, lift between the shoulder blades, lengthen your spine, and then exhale and relax. And you might need to lift the back of the head to lengthen the neck now. Palms of the hands are facing up, and you want to kind of play with the angle that you're going to have your arms for Shavasana. But inhale, reach that right arm way out, extend your fingers, and then exhale and relax. You'll kind of feel it slightly draw back in, and your fingers will curl. Inhale, left arm reaches, 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 and then as you exhale, let it relax. Again, the fingers will be slightly curled. So just check in, make sure you're exactly where you want to be. Jaw relaxed, eyes closed. Your hands are so relaxed, it looks as though you're holding delicate lotus blossoms. And then take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. And just feel your body doing what it always does in Shavasana, this beautiful, deep surrender. We're going to bring our awareness to the center of the palm of each hand and the center of the arch of each foot. Most of you know that there are chakras or energy centers in our body. Most people are quite familiar with the fact that there are 7 major ones. However, we also have minor or lesser chakras. There's actually one above our head and below our feet, a couple of feet down in the earth. We also have them in the palms of the hands and the fingertips. This is why massage and human touch can be so powerful. We also have them in the arches of the feet. It's how we draw energy up from the earth. So when we're earthing or walking barefoot on the ground and enjoying the benefits of the electromagnetic charge of the earth, it's all because of the arches of the feet. So all I want you to do for the next couple of minutes is simply keep your awareness in the center of the palm of each hand and the center of the arch of each foot. You don't have to imagine anything. You don't have to try to draw energy in. You simply keep your awareness there, and prana, or life force, will enter. And if your mind wanders, which it most likely will, that's okay. You simply bring it back to the center of the palm of each hand and the center of the arch of each foot. If you've been able to keep your awareness in the arches and the soles, you will have, in fact, brought in more prana, or life force. So I want you to notice how that affects the rest of your body now. Feeling into arms, legs, torso, neck, head. Feel every part of you. And then you can begin to move your fingers and toes a little bit. You should be very tuned into them today. Start to deepen your breath. And when you're ready, take that deeper inhale, spread the fingers and toes. This might feel a little more meaningful today. And then exhale with the soft sigh as you relax them. Inhale, stretch even deeper through arms and legs. Exhale and relax. Bend your knees. Feel free to hug them in. And then roll to your right side. And press yourself up to sitting. So part of the reason that we did the practice that we did today is because we so frequently neglect our hands and feet and take them for granted, and they are exceptionally important. They are literally how we connect with the world around us and the earth. The other reason that we had a gentler practice is that from a seasonal standpoint, the year is winding down, and I'm not talking about the upcoming new year or whatever. I'm talking about tomorrow being winter solstice. So winter solstice, which is technically the first day of winter, is actually the longest night, or when there is the least amount of sunlight. And so it is what sort of impels us to turn inward and be a little gentler and self-nurturing, because after winter solstice, every day becomes a little longer. In other words, the light is returning, right? Which for me is a very blissful thing. So we do the gentler practices, but we really kind of honor all of these parts of us that we don't normally pay attention to. So in keeping with the whole hands, feet, fingers theme, we're going to do a segmented in-breath called Viloma Pranayama. We've not done this in a really long time, but I used to have you guys do this with me frequently in class. So we're going to use some mudras, some finger positions. We're going to be sniffing in through the nose in 4 sniffs. And each time we sniff, we're going to touch a different fingertip to a thumb tip. So it'll be index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. And then when you exhale, I'd like you to do an ujjayi exhale through your mouth with the palms nice and spread. So your hands are resting on your knees or thighs. We'll sniff in 4 times, touching each of the fingertips. And then as we exhale, will open them out. So you may have heard me say before that your fingertips and your soft palate are the most highly represented areas in your brain, because speech and opposable thumbs are very complex actions. So you're really lighting your brain up, which is a really good thing. This is good for neuroplasticity. All right, so since we're not all together and we can't kind of coordinate our breathing, here's what I would like you to do. We're all gonna take a deep breath in together and just kind of, exhale together. And then I'm just gonna ask you to do 3 rounds of this breath on your own, and then we'll meet up afterwards. So take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale completely through your nose. And you'll be doing 4 sniffs to inhale, 1 long ujjayi exhale through the mouth. 3 rounds, please. As you're finishing out, just pause for a breath or 2. Normal breathing, relaxed hands. Just notice how you feel. And then bring your palms together in front of your heart. Notice that you are pressing those 2 energy points together. You are giving yourself this beautiful energy and holding it at your heart center. Take a moment in gratitude for this practice, for the promise of the returning light beginning on Wednesday, the longer days, and for the day that's spreading out before you today. It is a beautiful day, much to be grateful for. Take 1 more deep breath in through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, reminding us to be present. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth. Palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always practice kindness, compassion, and love, and to include ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy winter solstice. I will see you, I hope, on Thursday. Namaste.